What's up, guys? We're live here at Ill Estate Podcast. I have the one and only Mike.
What's up, bro?
So, what's going on, Mike? How you feeling, man?
Feeling great, bro. Feeling great. Thanks for having me, man.
So, Mike, MR, what's that stand for, man?
Miguel Ramirez.
Miguel Ramirez.
Yes, sir.
So, ¿qué rollo cuando andas acá en el Gabacho? It's Mike, and when you're down there in on the Mexico side, it's Miguel.
And nah, it's always Miguel, but you know, it's one of those things where people are like, "What's your name, Mike?" Well, Miguel, and I'm like, just call me Mike. Just make it fucking easy.
Más fácil.
Yeah, bro. But you know, I told my gente is Miguel Ramirez, bro. Mucho gusto.
So when you introduce yourself, depending if they're Mexican, it is Miguel. Y si no, it's Mike.
A huevo.
Hey, that's crazy. You know what? When I was cold calling, when I was cold calling in the beginning, I worked for a company that did loan modifications, right? And this guy is all like, "Hey man, you're good on the phone, but you know what's not helping? It's your name." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "I was calling out of state. It was back in like in 08, 09 when everybody was losing their home." And he's all like, "Try something different." He goes, "What is like the white version of your name?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Charles, Charlie, what's Carl?" I was like, "I'm sure as hell I'm not gonna use Carl."
Yeah.
And I tried Charlie, and I bullshit you not, bro. It
hit.
worked. It hit. It was way different. So when you cold call, what name do you use?
Mike.
Mike?
But it depends on who answers, right?
Right.
So if you get like a super, Caucasian person on the phone,
Right.
"Hey, what's up, man? This is Mike. How you guys doing?" Or you get Raza on the phone. "Buenos días. ¿Quién habla?"
Yeah.
"Oh, doña, buenos días, Miguel Ramirez. ¿Cómo está?" So it just depends, right? You kind of always have to mirror what you get, right?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So you gotta, just kind of go with it, bro.
And what's up, Miguel? So tell me a little bit more about your story, bro. You've been a realtor for how long?
So I've been a real estate man for 3 years,
Okay.
and I got into real estate, I'm gonna
So
say
2020.
So I got my license November of 2021.
So like right by COVID.
Basically, yeah.
You were bored at home, and all of a sudden you said, "What am I gonna do? Fuck it, and become a realtor."
Nah, so it's kind of more of a little bit of a sad story, bro. So I lost my dad in 2021. He was 62 years young, and it was just suddenly like he got that COVID vaccine and
Right.
lo tumbó, it made him sick.
With the vaccine, so it wasn't COVID itself.
Nah, it wasn't COVID itself.
Damn, bro, we can go on a whole podcast about that in itself. But
Yeah. So I mean, as a kid, obviously being the Mexican background, being first generation here, my dad came to this country, $17 in his pocket, and just got a job. And
Right.
and then when I was in high school, he lost his job. Lo corrieron.
Yeah.
And he was unemployed for a year, and he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna fucking start my own business." And he used his life savings, bought a big rig, and the rest is history, bro. Now we have
the truck driver.
yeah. So we still have a business, a family business called M & Sons Trucking.
Okay.
We have 8 rigs now. My brother runs the day-to-day operations for that. Pero kind of going back to me is that my dad always told me que, don't work for the man. No trabajes para el gabacho, dice. He said, work for yourself. He goes, it's going to be more work, pero la neta que sí vale la pena, bro. Yeah. And looking at him, starting from nothing, bro, and what he built up to it, So when he passed, bro, I mean, I was in the deepest, darkest hole you can think of it, bro. Like my dad was Superman to me, bro. Like nothing could hurt him, nothing could faze him. Yeah. He's everything I wanted to be in life. Even to this day, bro, I tell people, if I can be half the man that my dad was, I'm successful, brother.
Yeah.
Y por eso le echo tantas ganas, bro. That's why I work so hard, because want to make him proud. I want to make him like, "Hey, this is me gallo. That's what I want, bro." So when he passed away, bro, I was in my garage, bro, just drinking tequila, and my wife comes in with my 3 daughters, and she says, "Hey, ¿qué rollo con tuyo? Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
And like, your dad was this big figure in your life, and now you have 3 kids of your own, and you're gonna miss the opportunity to basically give them what your dad gave you.
Yeah.
So she's like, pick a path. Pick the path you're going on, y a ver cómo no te va, or do something healthy with it. So I'm like, you know what? My dad always said I should work for myself, and I always want to get into real estate. I always did. So I signed up for the classes. I literally didn't know what to do. I Googled how to be a realtor.
Yeah.
And I signed up for these classes, and it was once a week for 8 weeks via Zoom. And then I finished my classes in June, and I couldn't get a test date till November. And I'm like, ¿qué rollo, pues? I'm going to forget everything I learned. So my birthday is November 21st. Right. So every year we have a tradition in our family that birthday person picks the restaurant, we all go there, and el birthday boy no paga nada, right? It's just Family pays, y así.
Benihanas a huevo.
Whatever, you know, my dad's
El
favorite.
más caro que encontrara.
It was always El Torito because it was my dad's favorite. So that weekend, I said, you know what? I'm gonna schedule my test for the 22nd because that's the earliest that I could schedule it.
Yeah.
And the day after my birthday, specifically, because I don't want to celebrate, bro. Because
Right.
for me, there was nothing to celebrate. It was the first birthday without my pops. So I had a dinner that night. My wife made me dinner, and then I went back to studying, bro. I literally studied for 3 days: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And I drove it down to San Diego because the only test date I could get. Boom, passed it.
The first try.
First try, bro.
One hitter quitter.
I mean, I have a lot of licenses, bro. I have my PNC, so I can sell property and casualty insurance in California.
Right.
I have my life and health license.
Okay.
I have my Series 6 license and my Series 66, my Series 7, and now I have my real estate license.
So are you like a good test taker or what?
I honestly just remember useless information.
Yeah. So you're like Google.
I'm like that guy, like you tell something que no vale la pena, I'm not remember it.
In 1958, ¿qué pasó? No,
I mean, if it was relevant to me,
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, dude,
Because I just heard this guy right now, man. He just gave it training, Neil the deal, and he said he took it 7 times. The dude's brighter than shit. Like, dude's smart. I think everybody's different. So for you, first shot, it took me 2 shots.
Yeah, first shot, bro.
Yeah.
I literally, so I finished my classes in June. I did not pick up a book, a lecture, nothing. I literally started studying that Friday. I found this app. I forgot what it was called, but it was literally like just an app that had flashcards and like little podcasts.
Yeah.
So Friday, todo el día, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then I was driving to San Diego because my test was at 7 in the morning, just listening to like their like lectures on over the radio or whatever, and I show up and I take my test. Hour and a half later, they give me this envelope and they say, "Don't open it till you get to your car." And
I remember that.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm already here," so I opened it and I was like, "I passed, bitches." And then the guy or security's like, "Go outside." And I'm like, "I already passed. You can take it away." You know what I mean? So yeah,
hey,
bro.
did you cry though?
I did.
No bullshit, you did.
Dude, I did, bro, like a baby, bro, because even talking about it, bro, makes me emotional because it's like, you know, I did it for my pops.
Guys, man, we're 6 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah.
And fuck, even I want to tear up.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it was a big deal for me, bro. It was like one of those things where this is the first step of me, you know, just doing what he did, following in his footsteps, bro. And yeah, bro, like, you look at me, I got fucking water eyes right now. I feel like a little punk, but it's one of those things where it just makes me proud because, you know, it's just living up to my dad's legacy, bro. I'm part of his legacy.
Right.
You know? And at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave the loved ones my kids, you know, and I'm leaving. They're my legacy, just like I'm my dad's legacy.
So, do you think the reason why you passed on the first time and the reason why you're so successful is because you have that drive based on like what you were taught, mentored, as opposed to somebody that just gets into like a hobby?
Definitely, bro. To me, I was born to be a realtor. Like this is what I was meant on earth to be, bro. And I say that not because it's just I'm doing it. No, bro. Right. When I was a kid, my dad always says, "Mijo, vete a vender carros.
Yeah.
Tienes un perrico que tú vendes lo que quiera."
Yeah.
He used to say, "Tú puedes le puedes vender el mar a una ballena." You know? That's what my dad used to tell me, bro. And at the end of the day, like, I'm not selling you a house, bro. I'm not doing that. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not going to put a gun to your head and say, "Hey, buy this house." You don't do it like that, right? People, they trust you. That's the relationship. Like, este guy, see, you know, he's
you really look out for what's the best interest for them. It's not about you.
Exactly.
And then once you figure that out, that's where you'll really succeed.
That's what it is, bro.
So, you know what's crazy, guys, for you guys listening in? Before I met Miguel, like 3 times I heard about him, right? And every time that I would hear about him, it was always the same combo. Hey, bro, if you meet this guy, he's like you. It's like talking to you all over again. And his story right now, just listening to the first 6 minutes of it, it's very similar. So it's very similar story. We both, I think, gone through like some deep stuff. I lost my brother, and it was really similar. And my dad raised us the same way and preached the same thing. Came very similar, first generation. Didn't have anything. Came with same thing, almost no money in his pocket, and built his own business. And he taught us the same thing. Like working for somebody, you're never, no matter how hard you work, like it's going to be very hard for you to be successful. But once you got into the real estate game, what I'm hearing right now is one, you have a passion for it, but two, you actually care for the people that you help.
Exactly, bro.
So you actually, it's not even about you and selling the house. You're not putting a gun to their head, but you're being the right tool in the vessel to get them to where they want.
Right. Let's be honest, right? A lot of people that look like us, that talk like us, that come from the same background as us, right? They all think home ownership is not possible. They all say, it's no para mí. It's too expensive. It can't happen. And I said, listen, look at me. Yeah. Look at you. We're the same. What's different between you and I? Nothing. Right. That I can maybe speak English? Oh, big deal. You have a job. I have a job. You have kids. I have kids. What's the difference? If I can do it, why can't you do it? And when I start telling people that, bro, they like, I don't know, like, they're like, oh my God, like they get motivated and they're like, hey, this guy's out for me. I'm looking out for you. And that's what it is, bro. Because buying a house is literally like a piggy bank. You're not burning your money away. All these people are renting, right? $2,000, $3,000. Dude, they go, ¿Tienes dinero para quemar? No. That's what you're doing. Why not buy a house and put that money? It's like a piggy bank.
Pero es que están bien caras las casas, Miguel. ¿Cómo lo vas a hacer, viejo?
Sí se puede, bro. Sí se puede. Si yo lo hice, sí se puede. Queriendo poder. Como digo a todos, detrás del dinero, detrás del miedo está el dinero. ¿Sí o no?
Scared money don't make money.
Exactly, bro. It's just what it is. And I tell everyone the same thing, bro. Me and you are the same. We might talk a little different. Yeah. We might walk a little different. But we have the same background.
Right.
I bought my first house 4 years ago, bro. And it was the hardest thing I ever thought I did in life.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, fuck, that was the best decision I ever made.
Was it, so for the people listening in, Mike, when you bought your first house, you were only a year into real estate, right?
I wasn't even a realtor yet.
You weren't even a realtor yet. How much money were you making?
So back then, I was making $33 an hour.
So salary per year, how much were you making?
So I was probably averaging about 85 to 90K a year, give or take, with like bonuses or whatever.
So you were right there. And then how much was the mortgage on the house when you first got it?
So my house was $565, which was more than I could basically more than I could afford, because I only got approved for $510 because the loan limits were different back then.
Yeah.
So I only got approved for $510, and my lender said, if you buy anything over, you're gonna do a jumbo loan. I'm like, what the hell's a jumbo loan? She's like, well, higher interest rate. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
But my wife, literally, we went to the house. My wife's eyes got big, and she's like, I want it. And I'm like, oh, great.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I changed up.
So I ended up selling my truck. I ended up selling my boat. I ended up selling my fifth wheel to make up the difference to buy the house.
But why were you willing to sacrifice those toys that you had for the house?
Because my wife, obviously, she's the thinker. I'm just a doer.
Yeah.
My wife basically said, what would you rather have? All your toys parked at your mom's house, or have your house and then have your toys parked at your house? And I'm like, that's a good point. So I sold my toys and got my house, and now my toys are parked in front of my house now.
There you go. You got them back.
I got them back.
So the toys stopped you from buying the house, but the house didn't stop you from buying the toys.
Hell no, man.
That's where people get it twisted all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to buy the toys first because it seems like it's faster and easier to pay off.
It's because at the end of the day, it's like you're almost like showing off to like your friends and your people you came up with. Like, look at me, man, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're doing it at your mama's house.
Yeah.
You ain't doing it. You know what I mean?
And you did this before you were a realtor.
Yeah.
So this was before you went into real estate and you really understood the ins and outs.
So it's funny, man, because meeting my realtor kind of catapulted me more to want to do this.
Why, you said all the things he fucked up and you didn't want?
No, it's just one of those things where it was one of those things that I liked and didn't like about him.
Right.
And I'm like, well, everything I liked, I can do better. And everything I didn't like, I can do 10 times better. So I'm like, if he can do it, why can't I do it better? And that to me was like, okay, let me try this.
So walk me through your first year in real estate, man. How was it?
So I got my license on a Monday. Mm-hmm. On Tuesday, I went to go interview Coldwell Banker. Uh-huh. And they painted me this beautiful picture of like, you're going to be so successful, sign here and go be a realtor, right?
They gave you the blue polo?
Oh my God, they didn't give me jack shit.
Not even the polo, bro?
No, bro, nothing. No, they just said,
buenos dias.
No, bro, it was just like, hey, sign here, go be a realtor. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? And she's like, well, it's up to you now. And I'm like,
you're on your own, buddy.
Yeah, that basically, like, there's no guidance, there's no help. They're like, here's a mentor, phone a friend, nothing. Just go be a realtor, right? And so one of my wife's friends from high school was a realtor, and he goes, hey, bro, I'll take you under my wing, blah, blah, blah. But it was one of those things where that fool was just like out for himself. He wasn't really teaching me shit, right? So I left Coldwell Banker in April of 2022, and I joined KW. Okay. And then KW, where was the realtor that I sold me my house, he goes, hey, come join my team, and we'll show you the ropes, but we're going to charge you 50% commission to show you the ropes. Damn. So
every deal?
on every deal, bro. Like there's no cap.
Plus the KW fees?
No, so it's 50-50. Like I take my 50 and they cover all the splits or whatever, right? And so I'm like, well, I can't commit because they wanted me to do full time, and I'm like, well, I still have 9 to 5, bro, because you know I got my mortgage, I have my girls, I got a daughter on the way. So in June of 2022, my youngest was born, and so you know the state gives you 12 weeks of baby bonding time.
Yeah.
So I was gonna take the time off in the summer.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, hey, take all the 12 weeks. Like, jump in, bro. And I'm like, okay. Because I was still making, you know, the PTO money or whatever. So I still had that security. So my wife says, in 12 weeks, if you sell one house, then we'll talk about you leaving the credit union. We'll talk about you leaving the bank.
That's not a kick in the ass. I don't know what it is, bro.
Yeah, so she's like, if you sell one, we'll talk about you leaving. If you sell two, then it's most likely that you're leaving. 6 weeks later, had 4 houses in escrow.
Oh, shit.
And I closed all 4 of them in 6 weeks.
So then it wasn't even a conversation.
So my wife's like, you're fucking leaving. So yeah, bro. I ended up.
So within 6 weeks, you opened up 4 escrows.
6 weeks, I opened up 4 escrows.
How much money you make those first? Well, it had to be like 10 weeks, right?
It was like pennies on the dollar though, because obviously they were taking 50% of my commission.
It was like selling 2 homes.
Yeah.
But still, how much was it at the end of the day? If you remember.
So I think with 4 houses, I probably made like, I don't know, maybe like 22,000, something like that.
And how long would that take you on your previous job?
Probably like 4 months.
So you made it in 2 months where you would have made it in 4 months.
Yeah.
And then after that, what happened?
So literally, I had to go back to the bank to do it the right way. I went back to the bank the beginning of September, put my 2 weeks, but I was still working on deals right at my desk.
So you were working at a bank before you were...
Yeah, I was working at schools first. I worked at schools for 12 years.
And what did you do there?
So I started in the bottom, right? Was a teller, banker, became a lead, and then I ended up doing insurance for them because I got my insurance license. Right. So for 6 years, I did home insurance sales, like home, auto, boat, the whole 9. Yeah. So like now when my clients ask me about insurance, like I got you, don't worry about it. I know everything. So, but yeah, I had to go back, give my 2 weeks, and I dove in full, like, you know, and I've been doing it ever since.
Got it. So fast forward to now, where are you at now, man? Like how many deals does Miguel do every year now?
So I'm averaging anywhere between 15 to 20. Just depends, right, on the pipeline. Okay. Now I have my own team, right? So I was on a team before where they took 50% of my split. Now I have my own team where I only charge them 50% for the first 3 deals because I don't want them to leave. Yeah. Right? I want them to make sure that, you know, hey, I'm not a greedy, you know, guy, and I want to make sure that we thrive together when we build a brand, right? So, like, you know, example, like KW, right? Yeah. KW is famous for two letters. Yeah. Well, guess what? MR is going to be just the same.
2 letters. There you go.
You know what I mean? So why can't MR be another KW later? Right. So, you know, you got to start somewhere.
That's what it's all about, bro.
So I got a team right now of 3, and with me it's 4. So, yeah, bro, we're gonna go hopefully straight to the top. You know, that's the goal. You know, and
I see it, bro.
You know what I mean?
They got the right mentor, they got the right team. So.
And I always tell them, like, it's not about being the best, man. It's about trying your best, and everything else just fall in place. You know what I mean?
So if you were to give advice to somebody starting off right now, and you were to give them the top 3 things, what would you say they need to focus on?
First and foremost, at the end of the day, I think you just have to believe in yourself. If you can't do that, then this is going to crush you. Like, this is going to eat you alive. Because if you're lacking that confidence, then people are going to see it, right? Like, if you talk to people, like, hey, what's going on? Oh, hi, how you doing? Like, people feed off of that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you have to be, I'm not saying, like, arrogant or cocky. No, people can see that, too, and they don't like that, right? But it's confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself. Everything else you can learn.
Kind of like when Miguel used to walk into the club back then.
Oh, yeah, bro.
You got his chest out.
Oh, bro, are you kidding me? Point me to the hottest girl here, and I guarantee you she won't give me her number. I'm just kidding. You know?
What would be number 2, Miguel?
So number 2 is honestly just if you're gonna do it, you can't half-ass it. Like there's a lot of part-time, you know, realtors that, hey, you know what, I don't want to leave my security, my stability, because what if I fail? Right. Well, guess what? You by saying that, you are gonna fail. You just have to dive in, bro. Believe in yourself, right? Confidence and believing in yourself, right? Right. And the third thing, honestly, and this is the thing I can't preach enough to everybody, is just go do it. Like
execute.
Yeah,
like
just
stop
do
talking
it.
about it and start executing.
Yeah, just do it, man. You know, like it's like everybody, you know, like people, oh, how good were you at baseball in high school? Dude, I was the best player, blah blah. Yeah. Don't talk about it. Let people talk about you.
So then if you had somebody who's starting off, is it okay if they start part-time, but as long, because you started part-time, right?
Well, technically no, because I took 12 weeks off, right? So I was all in from the get-go.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I guess you can say my foot was half in and half out because I still had the stability of that baby bonding time that I had. But at the end of the day, I tell people, listen, if you want to do this full time, everyone's like, oh, the market's tough. The market's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I came in probably at the toughest time.
Right.
And I still succeeded. And look at this market now.
What's the worst that's ever happened to you on a transaction that you're like, oh, man? Has there ever been that moment where you're like, even had to doubt yourself for a minute?
It's not about doubting myself. It's just about like we just got to get it done. See how I said or no how I said? You know, is it going to happen or not going to happen? Like, yes
Have
or no?
you ever had like a nightmare story though in real estate?
A nightmare story? I had a $20,000 termite inspection.
Damn.
And my client's like, hey, we don't want to proceed because it's crap. And I'm like, okay, well, what if I can get you the credit for it and you don't have to come out of pocket for it? Does that change things? And he's like, well, can you? And I'm like, let the kid work. And so I was able to get him 15. And he goes, is 15 good enough? And he goes, dude, I was going to be happy with 10. He's like, you're a superhero. You did 15. So I was like, hey, dude, I mean, that's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Right.
But it was one of those things where I always feel like if you don't ask, you're not going to know.
Right.
And there's only things that are in your control. So if that guy's going to walk away, then cuando hay una va a haber más, it's not a big deal. It's just I ask, and if it was good enough for him, then it's good enough for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's the biggest obstacle I think I've had.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy out there.
No, I'm sure it does.
There's a couple of different things that happen, but Miguel, so you say your dad was a trucker. You never got your CDA?
So no, I mean I can drive him a little bit.
Yeah.
But my dad was a really tough person to teach you.
Like he was like the old school Mexican. Where's your dad from?
Zacatecas.
Okay, ¿qué te decía? Eso que te decían, no seas pendejo y te pegan un sopapo if you grinded the gear.
Me vas a quemar el clutch.
Yeah.
Me vas a quemar el clutch. He would always yell at that to me. So like we would go dump at some some dump sites and llévatela. So I'd be like just to get out of a dump, you're probably like 5 gears in, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember una vez no quería entrar el pinche gear. Me vas a quemar el clutch. He's just yelling at me, and I'm like, ¿sabes qué? Put it in neutral, put the fucking, air brake on. Yeah. Llévatelo.
Yeah.
It was just like,
How old were you?
Dude, I was probably like 22, 23.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can drive them, but it's just that I never got my license. And now, obviously that he's not here, I'm actually studying right now to get the learner's permit so I can drive and just help my brother out whenever, he needs me.
Right.
So, because the business is there and the business is thriving, without me, but I help as much as I can when I can,
That's super cool.
So.
Hasta en eso nos parecemos. I actually just gave mine up. I had my CDL for a long time. And just like Miguel talks, for me I feel like this is what I was born to do. And this is what I do. So I hanged on to my CDL for a while, and I would tell my boss, I got to renew it every 2 years, my license. And you have to renew the medical too, so you have to go get the test done. And everything was just more expensive when you have a CDL. So my pops tells me the other day, he's all like, why you still have it? I'm like, it's my backup in case anything was to happen. Why you even have a backup? I'm like, in case? I was like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And he's all like, stop. Fuck your CDL. He's all like, this is what you do. This is what you do. I don't have a backup. He's all like, this is what I do. And when you're like passionate about what you do, you shouldn't have a backup. This is the only one, sink or swim. And then I was like, well, you got to tell me twice. I went to the DMV that day, gave up my CDL, and said, this is it. That's all I'm doing. So for you guys listening, man, if you guys hear, Miguel, how old are you now?
I'm 38.
38 years old. So he didn't have it all figured out in the beginning. Sometimes it takes certain things to happen in your life for you to get it together.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, you tried a little bit of everything. You just mentioned right now you were a banker. You did life insurance. You did home insurance, boat insurance, all types of insurance. So it's okay if you don't have it figured out in the beginning. But as long as once you feel like this is your call, then go for it full force. Any other advice you would give Miguel on this podcast today?
I'm going to say, if you're unhappy, like if you don't get up in the morning and you're happy to go do what you're doing, right? If you're going to go push a desk, if you're going to go do whatever it is, and there's no like joy to go do what you're doing, then you're not doing what you're meant to do. It's literally what they told me in my job, right? When I was working at the bank, you're wasting your talent here. And that's what they told me. All the time they would tell me, you're just wasting your talent here, Mike. Well, there's nothing that we can do to help you go where you gotta go. Like this was my boss at Schools First, bro, talking to me.
Right.
And I'm like, that's so weird that you're telling me that, bro, because like you're supposed to like motivate me.
To keep me here.
Yeah,
And help me grow here.
Yeah. And he didn't. So when I put my 2 weeks in, he was so happy for me. He was like, dude, hell yeah, bro. I was waiting for the day that you were gonna give me your 2 weeks notice. He's like, I'm so glad. Mind you now, he's like a super cool friend.
Yeah.
And we hang out all the time now.
Yeah,
and it was so weird because when you're in work, you're like, fuck that dude. He signs my checks, but he doesn't care about me.
Right.
But he did. And I never knew that, right? So like I say, if you're not happy, like when you wake up in the morning to go do what you're doing, then you gotta find your happiness. Because if you are happy to do what you're doing, it's not gonna be work. It's just gonna be called life. And life's gonna give you a check every now and then. So
and what's the goal for the next 2 years, or let's just say this year from 2024, from here to the end?